What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video on Toy Trades. I'm Toy Ingram, unapologetically myself. In today's topic, we're going to be talking about how to pick the right broker for you, but most importantly, what platform should you even be trading on as a new trader? Stay tuned. Alright guys, so today we're going to be talking about how to choose a good broker, and most importantly, what are some of the different platforms that are out there when you are trying to become a new trader. Again, this is a beginner trader platform or per se channel. I'm a new trader, start my journey like everybody else. And at the same token, I just want to be able to kind of give you guys some of the things that I, went through myself, and most importantly, things that I have learned along the way. All right, now, some of the things that you want to look out for when you are looking for a new broker is, one, what is your community utilizing? If you're following a community, which I put out in my last video, you want to make sure that you're using the same broker as them, unless it's like some broker that you just are completely against. And as a new trader, how would you even know if you're against them or not? The big thing is, the reason why you want to find out what your community is using is because if you are getting trade ideas from your community, educator, what have you, then a lot of what input they're going to tell you to input into your trade, right, is going to be based off of what that broker offers. And if you have a different broker than the educator, then your trade may not go the way that you would want it to go, and everyone else, it hits their target. I've seen this happen on multiple occasions with educators where they call it, by the end of the night, everybody's like, yo, turn up! And then you over here looking like, why is that? Because you probably had a different broker. And so what happens is, I've heard people in platforms and they'll say, no, that trade didn't go, it hit my stop loss. And that's a whole nother video. I'm not going into terminologies. I don't have time. But let's say, no, it hit my stop loss, and everyone else is like, bullshit. No, it didn't. It hit target, it hit TP. Take profit is what TP is. I will explain that. And you're wondering, how did no one else get stopped out and only you got stopped out? Well, it's because you had a different broker than everybody else. And so what happens with that is this. The one thing that you want to look out for, or one of the things you want to look out for when looking for a broker, is spreads. You want to look out for spreads on your broker, and the smaller the spread, the better it is, okay? If you have a broker that has high spreads, that means that every time you get into a trade, the distance between your ask and bid price is ridiculous. And you're probably, as soon as you get in a trade, you're going to be negative. When you have a spread, it's not exactly, what you're looking at on the screen. You can see where price is, but the broker's spread could have price in a different area, meaning that they're going to be having their lines in different locations. And if they have a huge spread, it could stop you out, or it could have you in the negative, even though the trade looks like it should be positive. So those are things that you want to look out for when you are looking for a really good broker. Next thing you want to look out for is, how much are commissions? Are these brokers charging you out the ass just to take a trade? A lot of times you can tell by when you put in the first trade, you're going to see what fees are popping up, and you kind of gauge. And again, every broker is not created equal. So again, you want to look to see, do they have low commissions? Is it something that seems fair when you're trading? Or are they just stealing your bag right from under you? Another thing you want to look at when you are looking for a broker, you want to look at the customer service. A lot of times you can be able to find out whether or not a broker has good customer service based off of, things happening in the market that typically don't happen, and all of a sudden servers are going down. And that happens, like, say, Bitcoin's dropping out of the sky, or it's skyrocketing, and next thing you know, you're trying to get into the trade, or you're trying to get out of the trade because it's going negative, and your server, the broker, just will not let you get in. You can't exit the trade, get into the trade. those are things that you want to look out for of like, hey, like how many times do you have issues with this broker's server? Most importantly, if you have issues with that broker's server or something happens to where there's a spike because, people are like, crashing the capital, and all of a sudden there's like a spike in the market because news is running rampant and you have no understanding as to how all of a sudden, you were either knocked out of a trade when you really shouldn't have. The most important part of that is going to be, what is their customer service? Are they going to be able to, refund you your money because due to their doing and no parts of your own, you were knocked out of a trade or lost money and it was the actual broker's fault? If you have brokers that are willing to say, hey, we see that during this time frame our servers were down, we do acknowledge, blah, 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 and they actually refund you your money, that's a good broker. But if you got a broker that's like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about because our servers was up and your money just gone, boo, then you don't need that broker. You need a better broker. In most cases, if a broker is like jacked up and people are always having issues, then you will definitely usually get, girl, that broker stole my money. I was in a trade for Bitcoin and I was about to make all that back. And next thing I know, I am broke as hell. Or you will get situations where you have people saying, I was in this trade and next thing you know, like people were storming the Capitol and I'm not in that trade anymore. And I want to know what the fuck just happened. If you start hearing people asking in the chats and saying like, hey, is anyone else locked out of their broker? Or, did you get stopped out? Most cases, you're going to get the reviews you need for knowing how well a broker operates. When I first came into trading, I had a different broker than what I have right now because that broker was just straight garbage. All right. And so because it was garbage, I chose to get a different broker and I started asking around, but I don't feel bad that I had a bad broker. And mind you, it's good to have multiple brokers, to be honest. Not saying you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket is what I'm saying. So for me, when I got that broker, it's because that when I was in the community that I was in or that I'm still in, at that time, that was the broker that everyone was using. And then slowly we all learned that broker was garbage. Okay, not only are you looking for spreads, commission fees, their customer service, but also what kind of leverage are they offering you? There's different types of leverage. Again, when you're coming in as a retail trader and you're using these small amounts of money in your account, that broker is leveraging your account, giving you more than you actually have in a sense for you to be able to be in the market. And depending on the leverage depends on how much space you have before you actually get knocked out of that trade. Now, again, you want to Google this, do some research to learn what leverage means when it comes to trading. So your 1 to 100s, 1 to 200s. I've seen 1 to 500s, depending on the broker, depends on what they have. And then it depends on the style of trading that you have. Because I know some people who like higher leverages and some people who don't like a lot of leverage for it to be a little bit closer, more realistic for them. Again, it's a little bit more in depth and I don't feel like trying to explain that because, for me, I just be following whatever whoever's teaching you to like, use 1 to 300, boom, that's it. You trying to say, well, why am I using 1 to 300? Like, just start out as a beginner at once. Just start at a beginner. And then once you start getting a little bit better, then start saying, why am I doing that? And last, for the broker, and again, there's so many things that you need to research, but most importantly, if you're just starting to be a beginner trader, the one thing that you should know is that most brokers allow you to have practice accounts, demo accounts, so you can kind of gauge and see how things work with that broker without using your money and you being terrified. Now, when we start getting into binary options, things like that, most of those type of brokers require you to put some type of actual money before they actually give you a practice account at all. So again, the one thing you also want to think about when you're getting a broker is, does that broker have the things that you want to trade? So if you're following an educator and this educator also trades different types of commodities, energies, they trade crypto, they may trade, currencies and stocks, but the broker that you choose only allows you to trade currencies and nothing else, then you're going to be like, oh, I can't get in that trade. Some brokers have stocks in there, but don't have all the stocks. I don't know shit about stocks, so please don't ask me like what brokers have. So I have no clue. So again, everything that you're trying to trade, you have to figure out what is going to work for you. Now, let's talk about different platforms real quick. So there's different platforms, and when it comes to platforms, we're talking about where your brokers will be at, meaning that you have a broker, but you're not really trading on your broker per se, specifically for Forex, right? Most people who are trading Forex, they're using MetaTrader 4 or MetaTrader 5. I haven't used MetaTrader 5. Most people I know are still using MetaTrader 4. Don't quote me on that. So again, your broker is going to be going through MetaTrader 4. Like, you will actually put in your password, username, and all that on MetaTrader 4. It'll bring up your broker. I can use any broker I want. I can have multiple brokers on my MetaTrader 4 app. So again, it's not about MetaTrader 4 being a broker. That's a platform. Now, if someone's saying, hey, I want to trade binary options. Well, binary options is not on MetaTrader 4. I had someone who was like, yeah, I want to do HFX. I want to do binary options. Like, I just downloaded MetaTrader 4. Binary options requires you to go onto the computer, and most of the brokers are on there. Anywhere from VidForex, IQCent, things like that. And the whole application is completely different than MetaTrader 4. If you were following someone who's trading binary options, you talk about MetaTrader 4, they probably laugh at you off the screen. And believe me, I know educators that do that. Anyway, so again, if you are trading currencies, like I said, you can do MetaTrader 4. There's also some crypto on MetaTrader 4. But when you start talking about altcoins, I had someone asking me like, hey, I just downloaded MetaTrader 4 and I'm trying to get into this altcoin. I'm like, most people who are doing altcoins are on some type of exchange like Coinbase or Binance or something like that, where you can trade but also long-term invest into crypto. Not a crypto genius. I wish I was. I would have been bought crypto. I slept on that shit. But again, not all platforms are the same. And you have to know what it is that you're trading to know what platform and broker is going to best work for you. That's the whole moral of the story. All right, guys. So now to wrap things up, like I said, we talked about brokers and we talked about different types of platforms. Hopefully this was something that was informative to you guys. Again, you want to make sure that you find out how much these brokers are really charging you. You know, there's more into it about brokers. You have some that are regulated brokers, and then there's unregulated brokers. I didn't go in depth into that because that's just a whole nother, that's like a whole nother video. And YouTube be telling me like I can't be long-winded and shit. As much as I want to talk, like, time, y'all don't have a lot of attention span. But again, you want to make sure you're checking to see what kind of spreads they have, what kind of leverages that they offer, to also include what do they offer on the broker. Do they have crypto? Do they have stocks? Do they have currencies? Or do they have what you need is more important. And then lastly, you want to also talk about what kind of customer service do they have? That's a big thing as well, is can you get in contact with these individuals when you need to? Most cases, you aren't going to be able to get them on the phone. Most brokers that I've dealt with is usually always through email, because a lot of the brokers that I've dealt with have been overseas. Now, you have some regulated brokers, and that's a little bit more, like I said, I can't really talk educated on that particular piece because I don't deal with brokers that are from America. So, and also the different types of platforms. Hopefully now you understand that when you're asking someone who's trading and you're getting into trading, that, not all platforms are the same. And it just depends on what it is that they're trading and if it's the same thing that you're trying to trade. But yes, guys, so I hope that this was something that brought a value to what it is that you're trying to do. And I wish you all the best of luck on your journey as becoming traders. Again, this has been something that I've just become passionate about over the years. And though I may not be where I want to be just yet, I'm going to get there. It's just about time and dedication and really putting the work in. But again, guys, thanks for checking in with me on Toy Trades. And this is Toy Ingram, and I'm out. Peace.